Good evening and welcome inside Blackie's Bulldog Tavern. It helps when you put the volume on, Coach.
Already we have these issues? Your wife shows up one time, you spit all over yourself, you spilled the chicken twice, and you screwed up the volume.
Well, when you turn 30, things go downhill, Coach.
I've heard that about you. Matter of fact, she was telling everybody all about that birthday.
This is the Marty 5.
And I'm trying to keep a straight face. She's back there laughing.
This is the Marty 5 Coaches Show on ON 1240 and the Bryant Sports Network. Coach Fine, the Bulldogs coming off a 45-25 victory over Central Connecticut on Saturday at the newly named Burns Stadium. First, wanted to touch on homecoming and reunion weekend, another successful weekend.
Well, first let's touch on the opening ceremony of the stadium.
Okay.
What a terrific day for us.
Awesome.
The Byrne family has been so supportive. They've been more than we could ever ask for. They were a blessing in so many ways. And not just because of a deep pocket, but they care about the kids. They care about the institution. They give. They help others to give. They're terrific, and we're thrilled to have their name on our stadium.
And I know we touched on that last week as well, and I talked to David a little bit on Saturday, and they were just so thrilled to be there too. It means a lot to them to kind of be a part of Bryant University and to give back to these student athletes.
Without question, both of them, husband and wife, are both fully invested and are supportive in more ways than you can count. And there aren't enough people like that in the world that can give back and do. So they're not the only people, obviously, the Bill Connolly's of the world and the Charlie Germans. I mean, they're all over the place, but it sure was nice to have the stadium named after the Byrne family.
And it was nice to get them a win, too.
Oh, well, you had to at that point. I mean, how could you not?
Coach, we touched on homecoming last week a little bit, one of your favorite days of the year, and my mom told me a story yesterday about 3 or 4 of her swimmers that she coached back in the 70s. They got together on Friday night before they came here at Utica College up in Utica for a homecoming, and she was their coach, and one of their former players had passed away, and they dedicated the scoreboard to her during the weekend, and 30 years had gone by, she hadn't seen them, and they get together on homecoming. That's the kind of tradition that Bryant is building with this football program, and across the whole campus with not just football players, but all sports athletes, all people that go to Bryant.
There were so many wonderful people back for the weekend, and there were a lot of football players back, but there were so many people from every generation, all the majors, every way you could mix it up, they were back, and it was terrific. And there were some really special moments. Sadi Williams put on a service, and boy, you couldn't be any better than Sadi. And we had, there had to be hundreds of former football players back, and their families, wives, kids, little babies. It was terrific. It was, Justin Kicks is in the locker room, who's maybe the best receiver we ever had, or one of them anyway. And he's in there with his son wearing a Bryant football shirt, and that's Daddy's old locker, and this is where you're going to go to school. And there's a little kid just running around having the time of his life. It was really a heartwarming moment. And
the Bulldogs a 45-25 victory over Central Connecticut. Coach, you talked the first 3 games of the year, your team playing hard. They were giving you what you wanted, and that seemed to shine through even more so on Saturday. Boy, you guys played hard. And
boy, they played hard.
They played well.
We did. We played awfully well, and we played a good football team. I think they were a little bit surprised how well we played. I think when you watch video sometimes, you lose the personal parts. You see what foot people step with, and you see where their hands are landing, and because we're technical people by nature. But our kids are really committed to what we're trying to do, and they play hard. And now that'll be tested this week because the team we're about to go play plays really hard. I just talked to the coach of James Madison a little bit ago, and he said the one thing that stood out was how hard Maine played. But that's what we have to rely on. We're not going to just go out-athlete people. But when we play clean, we had the one turnover, but it was a terrific play by them. It wasn't anything at our end. We didn't have a lot of penalties. We didn't have a lot of lost yardage. We did a great job fielding punts. We did a lot of little things well Saturday that helped us get the victory.
Was there anything that stuck out to you from a team perspective that maybe boded well for your team on Saturday?
Well, there's a certain way we have to play. And I thought the things that really made the biggest difference were how well we played in the kick game. I thought we covered kicks. We kicked it well. We kicked all our PATs. We did little things that people don't necessarily notice, but we do. You can't miss PATs, and we have at times. We didn't Saturday. You can't not cover a kick properly because all of a sudden it gets out and everybody goes, well, they didn't. It's just one guy sometimes. So a lot of little things went well, but we had to play keep away a little bit. We had to keep the ball. We had to run the ball because their offense is really dynamic. Their quarterback is big and strong, and they got speed, and their back is a good player. And we were able to keep the ball for long periods of time. In the first quarter, we had a long drive to start the game, converted it. They go down and get a field goal. We get a second drive and go down and score again. And it's halfway, we're in the second quarter, and they've only had one drive.
The first quarter went by. I mean, it was incredible how fast it went.
Well, fast for you. It was slow for me. It took forever. But no, in the third quarter, we had the ball 11 minutes. We ended up with 11 minutes more possession time than they did. That's a lot of football. And even with 11 minutes more possession, we ended up with the same number of plays. And so, they're going to run a lot of plays against us, and we know that. So we have to keep our defense off the field. We have to control the ball and the line of scrimmage, and we have to run it. And we did Saturday.
Your Bulldogs improved to 2-2 overall, but more importantly, 1-0 in the Northeast Conference. That had to feel good to start with that win in the ledger.
Well, it's an interesting conference. It's really good football, better than I think a lot of perceptions may be. Sacred Heart goes down and beats up Stony Brook. The St. Francis went out to Montana and gave them all they could handle right down to the end of the game. We go to Montana State and give them all they can handle. And there's a host of other ones. I don't mean to leave people out, but the teams in our league, the Duquesnes, who go down and play William & Mary to a 2-point game in the playoffs. And, we can really play in this league. And we've had some success out of the league. Everybody has. So it's a tough league to win. And since I've been here, as far back as I can go, there's never been a team undefeated in the league that won the championship. It's never happened. It's very hard. The travel is hard. We're halfway through the season, and we still have a trip to Pennsylvania to play St. Francis. We still have a trip to Pittsburgh, 10 hours away in a bus or more to play Duquesne. We still have a trip to Maine. I think I just got turned off.
No, you're good.
We have a trip to Maine this weekend. We have another trip to Carolina. The travel is tough. We've already been to Montana, and so that makes this league very hard to win the way our league travels. And so to get one win in the league is a really good start to it. Now we have a lot coming up, but we'll take the one win and start that way.
Your team 9 of 14 on third downs on Saturday. You now lead the league.
That's terrific, isn't it?
You lead the league. You're 19th nationally in third down conversion this season.
Really? You're a stat guy. I don't know where you find these things. I have no idea.
48%, Coach.
Well, that's unbelievable. We're not able to maintain that. What we were able to do Saturday is we were more successful on first down than we've been because we were able to run the ball. We had fewer second and longs than what we've been averaging. And if we can get into manageable situations, that's when our quarterback is really good. I thought he played the best he's played in his 3 years here. I don't know what the statistics say, but if you just look at the video, he got us in and out of the right plays. We were running into good looks. We were throwing the ball to open people. He was able to read coverages and read spins. And he was terrific. And I don't know that he'll play that well again, but we're going to need him to keep playing well as a fifth-year senior in order for us to have success.
The Bulldogs defeated Central Connecticut 45-25. We'll take a closer look at some of the individuals that perform well on Saturday for the Bulldogs, and we'll also take a look at next week's opponent, the Maine Black Bears, coming up on Saturday.
Are you looking at how much chicken these people are eating?
Yeah, a lot of chicken wings going on tonight.
It's like chicken wing heaven. This one's eating bones, I think. This place is unbelievable. The food's so good that they're chewing on shoes next.
This is the Marty Fine Coaches Show on 1240 in the Bryant Sports Network. Welcome back inside Blackie's Bulldog Tavern. Tristan Hobbs, head coach Marty Fine. The Bulldogs coming off a 45-25 victory over Central Connecticut on Saturday at the
Who's this old creepy guy that keeps leaning over us? Can't we get a bouncer or something over here? Can one of these young athletic, Mike McDonald, you take care of the riffraff, please? Attaboy. Go ahead, continue with your question. I'm sure you have something in there that matters.
Yes, 45-25 victory over Central Connecticut.
Yes.
Your quarterback, you said, played well. Dalton Easton, 22 of 32, 272, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, also ran for a touchdown. Boy, let's not sell anything short here. That interception was incredible.
No, when you play good people, they're going to make plays. When we played Brown 2 weeks ago, everybody said, oh, you lost to Brown. We did, but boy, they made some really good plays. And, that's when you play good people, they're going to make some plays. They're... it's no different than any high level of football. You can go watch Alabama. You can go watch. It doesn't matter who it is. The other team's going to make plays, no matter who you root for. And Central made a bunch of them Saturday, and I thought they did a really nice job. In some areas, I thought they have tremendous athletes. The thing they do best is recruit. Their linebacker number 4 was everywhere. He made every tackle in the first quarter. But they jumped up and made an interception on a play that if they don't make that play, is going a long way. We run a little mesh and we get bounced around and the ball's held in the pocket and we're moving around and we throw it over a guy's head and the corner has vacated the third because of the man coverage. And if we throw it, we got a fast guy ready to catch it named Joe Fine, the speedy one. And if it gets over that guy's head, we have Taylor Barthollet to block the safety, and it's a big play. He jumped up in the air, he reaches up one hand, catches the point of the ball, pulls it down, runs for a touchdown the other way. We're 2 inches from a big play for us, and it goes 7 points for them. The most important moment of the day was following that, though.
Incredible drive.
Incredible drive. The best drive we've had, because that's the moment where you had to believe. We've had those moments. We haven't always succeeded the way we want to. We had adversity. The thing had turned a little bit against you. You don't want to ever say, oh, no, here we go again. But you can feel that it could happen, and it didn't. And our guys said, okay, let's just go back to what we do best. And we played, and we played. We scored. We got to stop, and all of a sudden the game was back in control.
It was a drastic change, too, because you guys had such a good drive leading up to that play. The drive had been so good, you had converted a couple of third downs.
And again, it wasn't a matter where we did something terrible. No, it wasn't like we weren't playing well. Their guy made a great play.
Yeah.
Great play. Congratulations to him.
And you mentioned the third down conversions. You guys did better on first down. That started with Ryan Black. Career high 27 carries, 118 yards. Was there something in practice that maybe gave you an idea that
and
this
he was
could happen?
complaining I didn't give him the ball enough. Coach, put me back in. I want to score. But relax. We'll take some of the hits off of you. No, Ryan's done terrific. You know, we've been nicked up at the tailback spot, and we knew we had to go back to our basics. And we knew we had to block, and we had to run, and we had to be behind our pads, and we had to create, twos had to become fours. And that's what happened during the course of the game. He's 220 pounds. And he wasn't perfect, but boy, he was better than advertised, I guess, in some ways. He really played well, I guess is the best way to put it. And so we're really proud of Ryan and happy for Ryan, and now we got to replicate it again this week.
Was there something that he improved upon this week that he has maybe?
More opportunity than anything else. It was a game where we had to run the ball. We had to go back to the drawing board. We had to run the ball. We talked about it. We didn't hide anything. It's not, mad scientist stuff. We ran the ball exactly how we've run it for 13 years. We didn't do anything fancy. We ran the isolation play, the power play, the lead play. We ran our basic things. We just played them better.
Hunter Towdy, 6 carries, 30 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns, also caught 3 passes out of the backfield. He also blocked for Ryan Black, getting to 100 yards. Did a little bit of everything for you guys on Saturday.
He does. He gives us some flexibility because he's really talented with the ball in his hand. We're asking him to do an awful lot. And when you're young, he wouldn't be able to do it. But now that he's older, it's his 4th year, he can do a lot of things. And so he catches it. He pass protected. He had 2 great protections. He blocked off.
Flipped the guy over on one play.
He did. He got a good cut on a run through linebacker. But his eyes had to be in the right spot to see that guy. It was almost behind him. So Hunter was one of the guys that really played well, really stepped up.
Aaron IE led your team, 6 catches, I believe 61 yards, both career highs.
And I thought you told me we don't have enough receivers.
We talked
that we need 3 footballs. They all want the ball.
Week in and week out, we've talked about how talented this group of receivers is. How important is it for your team to be able to have a guy like Aaron IE step up, make 6 catches when Taylor Bartholett, your leading receiver the first 2 weeks, only gets 1 on Saturday? Guys, mark him. You throw to Aaron IE, he steps up, makes plays.
Yeah, it's a... we didn't ever go in and say we're going to throw it to Taylor. Taylor's a terrific player and has been a good player for a long time, as you know. We go in and say the coverage will dictate where we go with the ball. So if they spin one way, you have to throw away from it. If they do this, everything we do is reactive at that point. And so some people have decided to try and take something away from us, and it just gives you something else. And we talk about, when we talk theory, at times we talk about it's like a martial art. Where if they push you, you got to pull them. If they back up, you got to push them. You have to use their momentum against them. And it's the same thing reading coverage. If they're taking something away, you have to go somewhere else. You can't be stubborn. Because we have a lot of good players. We don't have the bell cow. We don't have Jordan Harris. We don't have Chad. We don't have Justin Kicks, who are arguably the 3 best receivers that have been since I've been at the school. But we have a lot more guys that are all good. Aaron Orie's a good player. Taylor Bartholett's a very good player. Matt Sewell's a good player. Gene Constance had moments of brilliance and a good player. I know I'm forgetting guys, but we have 6 or 7 guys that you could throw to, and they're going to go make a play.
Defensively, Coach, or actually, let's not forget the offensive line. How did you think they played on Saturday?
Well, we were really banged up in the offensive line. Tyler Cardoz didn't play. Our 3rd guard couldn't play. So we were really in a circumstance where we needed to sustain the ball and wear on them because we knew we didn't have a lot of depth in the offensive line. But those 5 kids that played all those plays really did good. Kieran Elmore is the leader of that group in a lot of ways. George Smith played well. The 2 young guys, Peter Mestry and Sean Golson, are sophomores, and it was the first time they've had to play all those plays. And you could see a little fatigue, actually, as the game went on, but never let go of the rope. Never, the performance may have fallen off, but not because of effort or care or any of those things. So we're real proud of what those guys did.
Never let go of the rope. Nice little Dave Byrne reference.
And we left Connor O'Neill out of it,
yes.
And I don't mean to, so I'm sorry.
And Coach, defensive-wise, who did you? I thought Pat Champagne played a really tough-nosed game. He made some big open field tackles.
He did. Patrick Kinney, our inside linebacker, is out now, and So we had to go and we had to create some more nickel circumstances. We played more with three corners, and we played more strong safeties, and that was Patrick Champagne and Brandon Owens. We played the two young linebackers, both had more than 30 snaps, Jesse Demerowitz and Josh Jefferson. The two young linebackers are going to be really good players someday. I mean, really good players. They're still learning. They still got fatigued a little bit, but we're good young. Patrick Champagne, he's a young player playing for us, splitting time at strong safety with Brandon Owens, and they both had to play more this weekend because of the injuries we had, and they really played well. I mean, they were physical, they were around the ball. Brandon Owens had a couple of tackles that just made you go, ooh, glad that's not me.
Coach, it was interesting. You never know when you're going to see it, but at one point on Saturday, you had your three linebackers were Tom Costigan, a sophomore, and then Josh Jefferson and Jesse Demerowitz, both freshmen.
That was the whole game. In nickel, we changed it a little bit. Thomas went down and did some pass rush, but we played the game with a sophomore and two freshmen.
What is that? That's a could be
a good problem to have.
What to come?
Yeah, it creates short-term problem, but long-term gain. Like a lot of things in life, if we can suffer through it now, and we're going to have to suffer through it for a bit. You know, we're a little ways away till we get healthy again, but they're talented guys. Thomas Costigan is long and fast and athletic, and he had one unathletic play, but other than that, he's really he's coming on.
Coach, you sit down Saturday night, Sunday morning, you go through the film. Was there something that stuck out to you that maybe you missed during the game while it was live, or something you saw extra that maybe you said, okay, we did do this well?
You know, I thought for the most part we played a good, solid defensive game. I think that we were in our positions better. I thought we tackled a little bit better. I thought there were moments of brilliance. Dylan Guthrie on a fourth down had a terrific pass rush. Chucky Wingate, comes on a blitz and gets a sack and really turns the edge well. We did a lot of little things well. And we're getting better week to week, day to day on defense. And I think that's the key. I would hate to sit here and say that, we are where we are kind of thing. We were better this week than we were 2 weeks ago, and we were better 2 weeks ago than we were at the beginning of the year. We played better at Montana State than we did Merrimack. We played better yesterday than we did Montana State or Brown. So, it's really going in the right direction. It's trending, shall we say, in this new modern world, the right way. And so we like where we're going with that. And we have to play Maine this week. That we'll talk about. That's a big bite for us to chew. Then we have an off week, but then we go 5 weeks in a row against our league, and our league is really good this year. And so we're going to have to be better on defense. We're going to have to win games 14-10 and not, 48-42.
Two more things before we go to Maine. First, penalties. You had 26 in the first three games, just 3 for 30 yards on Saturday. That's a trending upwards type of thing for you. That's good?
It is. First of all, I thought it was a very well officiated game. I think that crew that we had is the best crew the NEC has. And that's not taking shots at anybody else. I think we have good officials. I think they're very well run. But I really thought, I think they run the game as well and as clean as anybody. I thought there were some nitpicky things they could have called both ways and didn't call either way. I thought the ones they called were egregious and had to be called because they're at point of attack kind of things. So, no, I thought it was well officiated. The best we've had this year by far in a lot of ways. And I think that helps us. We know how to play to that.
And secondly, your team leads the league in scoring offense right now through 4 weeks for all of the nicks and bumps and bruises and guys out, offensive line hurt, running backs hurt, young receivers. You guys have seemed to still put it together.
Well, yes and no. I don't look at the stats. I don't ask you for the stats. I don't know the league stats. None of that matters because in the end, you could lead the league in scoring and not end up in first place. And we've been there. I mean, we've lived these lives before where partway through the season they say, well, you're 6-1, you're 18th in the country, and then you run out of bodies and lose a game or two at the end of the year, and you go, oh, we came up short. So those things don't win and lose games. They are a testament to how hard our kids are working. They're a testament to how well they make some plays because it's a kid's game. I mean, they got to go make those plays, and we did Saturday. I thought there were some plays out there that were not necessarily spectacular, like wow, but done really, really well. We ran a reverse in the first quarter with Gene Constant, and Taylor Bartlett had a terrific block. The quarterback gets a terrific block. The left tackle, George Smith, he does a seal on the backside move that we do as good as it looked like a clinic. And Gene Constant can really scoot it when you get going. So, I thought we did some things really well, but in general, I think fundamentally we're getting better in all three phases. We have to really continue with that. I wish the off week were right now because there's some things I just love to dive into and spend a couple hours teaching how to step with your right foot. We gave up 2 pressures on the quarterback because we stepped with the wrong foot. Those things have to keep coming on and get better because we're going to play harder teams as it comes at us, and you're not going to survive unless you play better.
Bulldogs take on the Black Bears of Maine this Saturday, 3:30 kickoff up in Orono. We'll talk about that game when we come back. This is the Marty Fine Coaches Show on ON 1240 and the Bryant Sports Network. We're back here at Blackie's Bulldog Tavern in Smithfield. Tristan Hobbs, head coach Marty Fine. The Bulldogs getting set to go up to vacation land. Coach, up to Maine, great state of Maine.
I've never quite done a vacation there. All my trips there have been work trips, and it hasn't been exactly a wonder spot for us. We've never won up there. We've played there several times now. It's a tough place to go play.
Played well.
At times. They handle us at times. They came down here one year and really handled us. They are truly a CAA power. They go to the playoffs. Someone told me they have 27 NFL players come out of the University of Maine. We haven't had any of those yet. So, it's like I said at the beginning, this is a big bite to chew. This is a big step up in competition for us, and we did get them once in I think it was 12-10 or something like that kind of game. It's exciting. We have to play these kind of games to measure our growth, and so we'll see where we are. And this one will help us get ready for our league because they play the kind of football we're going to see.
Don't look at the schedule, folks, if you're looking online to see what the Black Bears are all about, because they've played 2 FBS schools and they've played number 11 James Madison, so they've not...
FBS is Division I. Those guys with 85 scholarships and all that extra money.
Toledo and UConn.
And Toledo is terrific. We watched them play. I mean, they're going to win a lot of games in their league. And UConn just beat Syracuse, I think.
I believe so.
Or played Syracuse right to the wire. I don't remember which way it went. But, when you're 1AA and you're playing that kind of schedule, it does put a tough bark on you. And they have all of that. They were ahead of James Madison in the fourth quarter this weekend. James Madison's 9th or 10th in the country this week. They're as good a 1AA program as there is in so many ways. And now there's a new coach, new head coach, the gentleman who'd done all that good work up there, Jack Cosgrove, is retired. They work in the athletic department, I think. I hope I get to see him and wish him well. Because they run a class program. I'm envious of all the things that they do and how they do it. They run a righteous, honorable thing, and so I have a lot of respect for it. And we're thrilled to have a chance to go up there and play. See how we do.
They've always been big and always been fast. Is that the case still?
You got to be big and fast. You live in Maine. You got to be tough. It can't be an easy place to live, I wouldn't think. No, they do. What they do best is they do a great job recruiting tough kids, and so when you go up there, you know that they're going to tackle well. The best thing they do is tackle. They can run and tackle. They get it on the ground, and they're getting really big, tall, fast guys on the ground. So we have to be careful with what we ask our guys to do. There's a way to play these kind of games. We have to shorten the game again, but we have to look for advantages and try and create some mismatches that go our way. That otherwise we really don't have much of a chance. We've never been able to score the ball. We've moved it a little bit at times, but once you get down in there and you can't fool them anymore, boy, that's tough for us. And so, you were talking about we've been scoring the ball reasonably well. That'll come to a screeching halt. We won't have that conversation next Monday.
Is there something that you see, Coach, that you think your team can take advantage of this weekend? Is there something where your team maybe has a little bit of an edge?
Well, I don't think we have an edge. I think that every defense you set up has 11 guys, and the schemes sometimes give you an edge. We don't have an athletic edge. It's not that kind of moment. We played some teams where we said, okay, our guy can run away from this guy. We got to create that matchup. That's not this game. Their guys are faster than us and longer than us, and their front guys on defense are really strong. Their offensive linemen are really long and use their arms well. The one guard is really athletic. The center stays on blocks great. They're really a well-coached team. The quarterback's a big, strong guy who throws it more than runs it.
You've seen him before 2 years ago.
He played against us 2 years ago, and I don't know what happened to the kid that played so much last year. We spent all summer watching him, and now he's not the quarterback. And so I assume he got nicked up because he was a terrific player from here in Massachusetts as well. So it's a question of us being a really smart football team. The chance we have is to not implode and not make mistakes and don't get penalties and don't turn the ball over and be willing to punt it and play really good defense and never let it get over your head, tackle it when it's in front of you. If we do those things, we can make it into a game.
Sounds like you're preaching consistency.
We are, and it's really an important game in that if we can do those things, then our future is getting better because, we're getting better at all those things. The ball didn't get over our head this weekend. We got it on the ground for the most part. And a little back made us miss some, but again, they have good players too. It's a matter of what kind of miss. When you're an outside leverage player, can you force it back inside? Do you know when to box it and spill? All those detailed things we beat up our kids about all the time. We have to be better at all that this weekend just to be in this game because you can't make mistakes when they're that much better. And so we're going to work really hard this week on ourselves and our fundamental things. We're not going to worry about game planning them nearly as much as some might think. We're going to run our basic stuff, but we're going to try and run it better. And we're not going to change a bunch of coverages and change our personnels. We're going to line up in our basic things. We have an idea where they're going to be, and we're going to see if we can play really good, fundamental, sound football and make ourselves better so when we get in our league, we have more success.
A lot of young players playing for you, considerable minutes. You've made a plane trip, your first bus trip.
Really?
6 hours. How are you going to handle it?
I'm going to read a book. How are you going to handle it?
Probably the same thing.
Okay, you don't read. You watch some movies.
I read.
You do a little bit. Comics don't count in this conversation, though. We have a lot of older guys as well. And so what we're going to try and do is we talked about it on Sunday with the kids. We'll get on the bus in the middle of the day on Friday at some point. We'll get up there in time to eat some dinner and walk around a little bit. It's a Saturday afternoon game at 3:30, so we'll have time on Saturday to try and acclimate them and get them ready as well. But we're going to try and manage it the same way. The length of travel is about the same as the flight to Montana, very honestly. So a lot of things are going to replicate from what we've already done with these kids. I think we were working on it this morning. I think we have 17 freshmen traveling this weekend. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
On a 60-man roster.
The Bulldogs head up to Maine this weekend. Take on the Black Bears. Kickoff is, as Coach said, at 3:30. You can hear all the game live on ON 1240. Coach, you excited?
I'm getting there. This one takes so much work and preparation that you're still kind of slogging through all the facts and the details, and because you have to do your best to prepare the kids. But I promise you, by Saturday, we'll be ready to go.
Coach, I appreciate the birthday gift. Nothing better than a win on homecoming for a 30th birthday. Thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome, and for you, we did it. Nobody else. I do want to mention one quick thing. Do I have 30 seconds?
You got 4.
Okay, well, this weekend there was some passings away in the athletic world, and Arnold Palmer passed away. And if you're as old as me, you remember him as being one of the great icons of all sport, Arnie's Army and all those things. And he had a great, loved what he did, and that should be honored and cherished. We also had a 24-year-old in a boating accident who had a great career in front of him, and that's a tragedy. And for both those things, we're sad and wish all the families well.
Thank you very much, Coach. This has been the Marty Fine Coaches Show. Join us next Monday here at Blackie's Bulldog Tavern. This is the Bryant Sports Network.